Welcome back, everybody. It's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days since I've had a chance to be back onto this thing, but here we go again. So we pulled the motor and the tranny, the whole engine cradle, struts, and the whole works out. Now it's time to get back into this Hulk and start pulling apart some of the brains and controlling. So we got the computer and this whole system that we're going to rip out today. We'll steal a few hood or hose pipes and some other lines out of here as well. But our main objective is that brain box on the wiring harness, which means we'll also be working our way in here, climbing in here and digging into some of this dashboard. We know we need the ignition for sure, for the key and all the harness that ties to it. And then the other thing we're going to try and pull apart is that shifter linkage and control there, and pull it out. See if there's parts of that we're going to be able to reuse in our process along the way as well. So today is in that front end and in here in the dash area, starting to pull things apart. So let's get started. Okay, so after all that fun, every connection for the entire wiring harness up front is all pulled back, disconnected, and the last bit of it goes right through the firewall at this main giant conglomeration of fabulous electrical parts. Let's get that last AC connector there off. But now everything goes right through that firewall in that spot. And everything is in this jumble of wires over here, with as many of them as I could mark out for what they go to, so that hopefully once we get all this out and land on the floor, we can take it over to that little beauty and reconnect what's needed to fire it up and get it started. And that's going to be one of our first gigs once we get this wiring harness out, is to wire that whole harness right back up to that beautiful motor over there on a battery, and see if we can't, with a portable fuel tank, hook it up and get it to turn and start up. Once we've done that outside the vehicle, we know we got everything we need to continue the hookup into that bad boy. So there we go. Our next bit moves to the inside. We're going to start tearing that dashboard apart and following this wiring harness all the way over to the ignition. If I could speak, it'd be good. There's tiring crawling around inside this thing, moving all over, poking yourself in the belly with this, that, and the next thing. Lots of fun. Lots of dirt, lots of grease, lots of coolant, slime, and God knows what all else coming up out from underneath these things. But it's moving along. So we'll keep plodding along with absolutely no knowledge, no manual, and just using what we know from tearing cars apart over all these years with absolutely no knowledge of what we're doing. So here we go. good times. Fun. So here we are. I've gotten a bunch of the heater hoses out of this thing, taken this shift linkage out of this thing. We've disconnected every part of this wiring harness over here. The computers are disconnected. We're all the way up to the firewall here where we're ready to pull through. And then we came around to the inside and ran into the unholy hell that was getting this side of the ignition and its harness set up completely out. As you can see, we had to go through some incredible pain. If you've watched the high-speed vid, you've seen me go absolutely apeshit with a Sawzall and just cut this dashboard apart to get it out of the way. I did not have the patience nor the time to dig through figuring out how the 3 million clips and screws and bolts and every other fastener they could find to hook into this damn thing to put it together. And since I don't really care, it got Sawzalled and got the hell out of the way. Seats got torn out because it was just too much trouble trying to crawl over them. So now we've got the nice big open cab space. And you can see the steering wheel is gone. That's what came out with the rest of the ignition side of the wiring harness. We pulled the fuse box off the wall and then tore everything from the fuse box all the way across over to the passenger fuse box and disconnected it all and tore it completely out with the steering wheel and the entire steering column. So all that is all now in one pile. We have still to figure out how exactly we are going to get the other section of harness, which runs all along, even, you can see it way back in here, all up underneath in there, and somewhere behind this big piece of crap goes through that firewall. It's been less than pleasant. So I'll bring you back around if and when I ever get that stupid thing out. Oh, the joy and busted knuckles. Alright, so this is complete craziness. Trying to get this other half of the harness out. See this huge metal bar support that runs across the middle here. Had to undo all the bolts for it, and we're gonna have to rip this thing out. So that's my next little process here, is to pull this whole monstrous piece out and throw it on the floor. So that's where we'll be when next I come back to show you my progress as I fight with this Honda Odyssey and its parts. Okay, see you in a minute when I get this thing off, and I'll show you when it's all gone. We've had 3 bolts that come in from the outside over there, 2 that connect underneath right above the brake pedal connection there, 2 from this side, 2 from this side, and now these last 2 here. All right, let's get this thing out. Okay, well, that actually came out easier than I thought. Got that last bolt, lifted it up, and the whole thing fell over and almost landed on me. So there you have it. One more huge chunk of Honda dash and supports out of the way in the hopes of retrieving our harness for reuse. See this big chunk of metal out of here. And here we have it. We tore out that big old stupid AC box. We tore out the metal bar. We disconnected the brake pedal. We tore out the entire top of the AC in the front. We tore everything out. But here it is, getting ready. We pushed back through the firewall, and we have all the harness. Yay us. What a complete and utter pain in the butt to get through all that. To tear this whole stupid dash and front end completely apart to get this harness out. This better work. Crazy ass project. Oh. All right, let's yank this thing through from the front. See how it goes. What do you say? Think it'll come out easy? I just don't honestly know. But I'll put you on the stand and you can all watch the stupid progress. And there you have the wiring harness from a 2007 Honda Odyssey. Woohoo! So great progress was made yesterday. Good morning, by the way, everyone. Back here on the 64 Dune Buggy build. So as I was saying, great progress was made yesterday. As you know, we've gotten the engine and tranny and cradle and the whole spiel out and settled back here, waiting for its next stage of movement, where we'll start figuring out the frame additions and things that need to happen in order to tie this to that. But yesterday's grand stuff is right over here underneath this tarp on these two tables. Those of you who watched the last video know what's coming. We worked long and hard with many hand wounds, slices, scratches, bangs, and tweaks, digging out the entire wiring harness. Here it is, tagged, marked, reconnected. We go from the steering wheel and all the ignition components down through the harness and back to the car alarm. Not sure if I was even showing those things. Steering wheel, out and around. Through to even parts of the car alarm. Main fuse board, right out the back, through yon dashboard, to the brake pedal, to the gas pedal, which, here's the gas pedal. Look at that. Nice little electric gas pedal. Back around through and out the firewall at this junction. All the rest of these fine pieces going off this way. We've got the shifter linkage and all of its electrical connections still there. Various other parts. The far fuse box on the passenger side, which is mostly AC controls, windows and doors and such. So out through the firewall we go, off to some of the main brake controllers, over to the main computers, battery connections, off through headlights, and along. So there is the whole thing pulled out and laid out. This is probably giving some folks absolute nightmares. Trust me, I had one myself last night. Thinking about going through this thing, peeling all that lovely plastic and tape off, and trying to map out how we're going to fit this into that. to make it all work. We're very seriously considering at this point including the electronic gas pedal and this entirely adjustable shifting or steering linkage. We're also going to include the shifting. Getting ahead of myself there. Either way, we're going to see if we can figure out how to mount this adjustable steering wheel and all of its components into my rig, yon Dune Buggy. Have no idea how long or when this will start, but there it is, all laid out, ready to go. This might be that point when I start looking for some serious help from outside, but we shall see. Thanks for coming and enjoying the show. Be back to you later with more progress. Have a good one.